Claire from Creative the Ottaway. I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up in the UK. Thank you for joining me. This is my weekly craft along video. What are we making today? Ta-da! Love a ta-da moment. Okay, this card looks super complicated and it is not. It is super easy. It's a base card and we've just stuck the additional frames on the front. And what makes it even easier is this is just one die. So the trees are actually from just one die. Stampin' Up just make your life so easy. So what die set is it? It's called the Grove dies. You get 10 in a pack, but the most important one I think is this tree one. It gives you a whole scene. Now that doesn't mean you have to use the whole scene every time. You could cut it in half and just use half. If you wanted a smaller scene, you could use that side. You can overlap and layer and get all sorts of really good 3D cards just from that one die in the pack. But you also get some more. You get 3 different deer dies. You get this outline die for like a hedge or a forest or all sorts of things. There is a stamp set available as well that these will fit into. There's these, that's a little bushy set. This is small trees and this is taller trees. So there's quite a variation on things that you can do. But with Christmas around the corner and stress levels for crafters hitting the roof, we're going to make a card really, really simple, but that when you gift it, will receive a wow. Okay, so I'm going to put them to one side for a moment. The other important thing that we're using is some adhesive foam strips. They look like this. Stampin' Up have got them in their catalogue. You get, I think it's like 9 meters worth. It comes in packs like this and you just peel it off and it's like double-sided tape, 3D, but it's in a big streak. So think the little dimensionals or the foam pads just in a longer version. So if you're into doing scene cards, these are perfect for that. Or the shaker cards, if you love a shaker card, these make your life so much easier. So grab those for your essential kit as well. They're in the main catalogue, so which makes a change because I've been doing lots of Christmassy things from the Christmas mini. But today is different. Okay, let's bring the card back in so I can show you again. So what we're doing is making 2 frames and just layering that whole scene there. We do it one time that way round and one time that way round. So it looks like this is the bushes at the bottom. I don't know if you can see it's behind, but it also gives like a layered forest effect as well, which is really effective but really easy. I've just put 2 of the deers in on this one, and I was going to leave the background just white, but I've sort of done a sort of background colour scheme where it's really light in the middle and then slightly dark on the outside. So I'll share with you how I did that. I used a blending brush and some blue colours, so we'll go through that quickly as well. But that's it. You just put that on the front of a card and you are done. So you can be making loads of these late into the night and you'll have all your cards finished. So what do we need? Okay, for the winter scene card, if I put that there, just talk to you and you can screenshot it. You need a base card. So I'm in the UK, so my standard base card is 5 7/8 by 8 2/8. I have put centimetre sizes there as well, so that will help you. And then we're going to turn it and score on the long side, and then we want 2 frames, which I'll share with you how to make that, and 2 scenes, and that's it. Shall we craft? Okay, so screenshot that just so you've got the sizes, and then we can get crafting. So what do I need first? Should we make the base of the card, because that would make sense, wouldn't it? So you need a base card that is 5 7/8 by 8 2/8. If you're looking for it in centimetres, it's 14.5 9.9 centimetres by 21 centimetres. So I think this might actually be cut to size. So, because I've got quite a few offcuts that I cut to size the other day. So let me just check. 8 2/8 by 5 7/8. Lovely. So all I need to do is turn that into my card. So I've got the longer side along my measuring line, and I am going to score it at 4 1/8. So that's exactly halfway, 4 1/8. Make sure you're not using the cutting blade, but you're using the scoring blade. And that will just score my card in half, and that's my base card done. So I have used the thicker white card on this card just because there is going to be a bit of weight on the front of the card and I don't want it to flop down on the ground. So I've got a nice thicker base card just to make my card stand up nice and strong. Okay, so that's our base card done. Now we need to make the 2 frames. So we need 2 pieces of card that are 5 3/4 by 4 inches. So what I'm doing is actually making a frame that is 1/8 of an inch smaller than the base card, okay, just so that it sits in just ever so slightly. So 5 3/4 by 4. Where is my card? That way round, so 5 3/4, and then we need 2 of these, 5 3/4 by 4. Hopefully you can see the white card. It's always tricky knowing what colour to use on camera because sometimes the reflection on the white is too much. So that is just 1/8 of an inch smaller than my front of my card, so you need to cut 2 of those. So I've got 2 of those cut already. Now what I'm going to do is I need to turn this into a frame. So I have used my stitched rectangle dies. So Stampin'Up have these stitched rectangles, just see if I can show you them. They come in a variety of sizes in the set, okay, and I've used the 3rd largest. So not the 1st or the 2nd, but the 3rd largest. And what I've done is laid that on my piece of white card. Now, I'm not going to measure to make sure it's centre. This size is not quite equal on all 4 sides. So the ends are going to be slightly fatter than these sides along here and here. But I'm okay with that. I don't think you notice on the front of the card, do you? It's ever so slightly. So I'm going to just place this now with the cutting side of my die cut down onto my die cutting machine, and I'm just going to run that through twice with my 2 pieces and I will be back. So there you go. Let's move this out of the way. So what you are left with is these pieces. So I've got 2 frames with 2 inner pieces. Now they're a really good size rectangle for a front of a card. So don't get rid of those, put those to one side. You don't need it on this card, but you will need it for another card in the future. So these are my 2 frames, like so. And then what I need to do now is I need to die cut 2 of these, okay? So cut inside down. Oh, the card that you need to do the seams needs to be 5 5/8 by 3 7/8. And all I've done again, just to keep it as simple as possible, is just do it 1/8 of an inch smaller than this square. So it's just gone down 1/8 of an inch again. And I'm going to die cut one of those through. Okay, so I'm going to go and do that. Okay, so there is one die cut. Okay, just exactly as it is, like so. Now the second one that I'm going to die cut, I'm going to do it exactly the same, die cut it out, but instead of placing it in the middle, because that's what I did with this one, I'm going to place it further up. So I'm going to start off with it in the middle, roughly. So I'm just having a look around, making sure there's a nice edge all the way around my frame. But for this one, I'm going to move it up so it's not touching the edge, but it's a lot closer than the other one. I'm going to die cut that one through as well. Okay, and then I end up with my two die cuts. So let's see if you can see that, because it's on the white card. So this one, so can you see when I lay them over each other, they're not exactly the same. Okay, and that is deliberate, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to have one that way round, and then this one I'm going to turn upside down and layer it, and it now becomes the bushes at the bottom rather than a double layer of trees in the right position. I hope that makes sense. Just so it gives a layered effect, it's not exactly the same. So now what we need to do is put these together. Okay, now there's not really a right or wrong on how you put this together. It depends how much depth you want on your scenes, whether you want them really 3D or you just want them to look slightly layered. What I mean by that is we are going to use these as our frames, and we're going to attach these. So I'm going to turn them over so that they're both the opposite side, because that means that we will get that stitching detail on the outside. Okay, so this one is the one that has got a good size all the way round, and the second one is the one that's a lot closer. So this one is just going to go as it is there. So I need to flip it over so it's the right way. And that is just going to go on straight away onto my frame. But I like the depth on this one. So what I've done is put the sticky adhesive strip first. So for my first one that's just normal, let's move that out of the way. Let's do this one first. So this is just die cut in the middle, and I'm just going to put it on the frame. But the first thing that I need to do is add my adhesive strip to my frame. So that just peels off and that side is sticky. So I am just going to use the edge of my stitching as my line to follow. So that is just going to go along there, and I'm just going to press it down, and then I'm going to chop it off. Okay, I'm not going right to the edge, I'm just chopping it off there. I'm going to turn it and add this bit, just butting it up to that piece. Okay, and I'm just bringing it along to there, pressing it down on the sticky side, and doing the same again. Okay, so that's that, and then I'm going to repeat the same thing on this side, so I need another strip. Can you see how this would make a good shaker card, because you can butt it up to the other piece so there's no gaps? Well, let's do the long bit first. So none of your shaker bits that you're adding to your card is going to come out anywhere. Okay, that's along the bottom. That's going to go there, and then I'm just going to put this one here and just find that edge there and just trim that off as well. So all I've done is got my first frame, and I've added my adhesive strip to the back. Okay, so I'm going to peel those off, the little bits, because we want it to be sticky to add our scene. These Grove dies that we're using, honestly, if you're looking for value in your craft stash, these are perfect for so many cards. Sympathy cards, Christmas cards, anniversaries, retirement cards, all sorts. Absolutely perfect, because you can jazz them up or down as much as you need. So I need it the right way down, right face down onto my adhesive strip, and I know that it's 1/8 of an inch smaller, so there's only a little bit of a frame all the way round, and I'm just pressing that on all the way round, and that is now like that. So that's just your picture frame done. Okay, so that's the first one. Now we need to do the other one, so I'm going to bring this one back in. Okay, so again I want it face down. Let's see if I get it the right way around. Make sure that that's the right way around. Okay, and this time, am I going to put the adhesive strip on again, or am I going to put this on first? I think I might put this on first this time. Okay, so this is going to be that way around. So I don't want it with the trees at the top, because they are going to be the bushy bit. So I'm going to put that like that. So it needs to be the opposite. So if that was glued, it would be like that. Okay. So remember I said I'm just going to put it straight on this time. So what I need to do is put some glue around here so that my scene sticks to my frame. Just because it will give me a real 3D effect, just alternating them. Okay, so I know there's only 1/8 of an inch all the way round, so I can see a bit of a gap all around my frame. And I'm just pushing that down. And then what I need to do is add my adhesive strip. So my adhesive strip is going to go next, and much the same way as what I did just now, I just do it on the back of here. But I haven't got the frame to go by, so I'm going to go by the edge of this white piece of card. So that is going to go along there. Okay, just going to bring that in a bit, like so. And then this one is going to go down the side here. And snip that. Okay, and then I need another piece for the other side. I use these Grove dies such a lot, just for so many different things. Now here it's going to look like you're going across and the sticky foam is covering up some of the scene, but it's actually behind the frame, so you're not going to see it anyway. Okay, I can just see where the frame is, and I know that my sticky strip is covering it. Okay, so that's going to go there, and that's just a little bit too big for there, so I'm just going to tap that down. And what you don't want to do, you need them to butt up to each other, not overlap, otherwise your frame won't sit flush. So I'm just going to peel those bits off all the way round, and then we will be able to stick it onto the front. Okay, so that's my second frame. Now remember that this is my bushy bit at the bottom. Oh, do you know what I've done? I've peeled the sticky off and I'm not ready to put it on yet. So what I'm going to do, I'm being careful with that because I've already peeled the stickiness off, and that's the bit that's going on my card. My first frame that I finished, I'm going to put some glue around the edge, just where the frame is, just round like that. And then this one is going to go onto here. It all looks like it's a bit upside down at the moment, but it isn't, I promise you. Oh. Right, Tumbo gives me a bit of wiggle room just so I can make sure it's lined up. Okay, so can you see that 3D effect? That's the bushes down the bottom and this is the trees at the top. Now, I can't place it down because I peeled that off too soon, so I'm just going to put that there to one side while I bring my card back in. Okay, so this is my base card and I just want to highlight the spot that you're going to see through. So if that was on there, the spot is going to be somewhere around there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is use some of my ink and a blending brush to just highlight that area so that your eye is drawn to that piece of your card. Okay, so I've got a couple of colours. I've got boho blue and balmy blue. So what I'm going to do is open balmy blue and I'm just going to use my block. This is how I use my blending brushes, just because it gives me more control over the ink. So that actually looks like there's nothing on there, but I promise you there is. So I'm just pushing my clear block into the ink pad, and then I use this brush for blue, and I'm just rubbing it around. Again, it looks like there's nothing on it. And then I look at the spot that I need to go, and I don't press down, I just very lightly do a circle, and then as I get more confident that I haven't got too much ink on there, I just go round and round and round, just like so. Okay, and it's really hard for you to see, but there is a blue spot just about there. Okay, so that's the lighter colour. So now I'm going to do the boho blue, and I'm going to do exactly the same. You will see the ink straight away on this one. Can you see? Now that's way too much ink that I want, and I really don't want to pick that up. So remember those rectangles that you die cut? I'm going to use that to help me. So I'm going to pick some of the ink up, okay? And I'm just going to start in the middle of this and just get some of it off. Okay, can you see how it came out mottled? And then when I'm happy, I'm going to go round in there like so. And that just gives me a lighter spot in the middle, although I've put a line on there, so I'm going to have to cover my deer with that little line. Got inky fingers and didn't notice. So I've put 2 colours of blue on there. I'm happy with how that looks. So I'm now going to bring my frame back in, the one I've already peeled off, and have a look where that is. Make sure that the tree is at the top, the bush is at the bottom, and again this is only 1/8 of an inch smaller. So I'm just looking all round before I actually press. Okay, and that is stuck on my card really nicely, and because the adhesive strips are all the way round, it looks really nicely finished as well. There's no gaps. So all that's left is our deer to die cut and maybe a little sentiment. So I've got 2 deer here. You can see that I've got a little blob there showing. So what I'm going to do is use some of these offcuts and stick it onto the back of my deer so that she's 3D, and I'm going to cover that up with her. Okay, so that means she's right in the centre, like so. No more unsightly line. And then this one is the same. I'm going to use another offcut for this one, for the little baby deer. That is just going to go there. And he is going to stick here, I think, just about there. So all it needs now is a lovely little sentiment, and we've got a ta-da moment. Ta-da! So how easy is that? Stress-free crafting at its best. Just one die, double cut twice and just turned round and put on a normal base card. Perfect. So I've got 2 now ready for gifting. I hope you've enjoyed this craft along. If you have and you'd like to see some more, click the notification bell and subscribe. You will be told every time I post a video, or come and find me on Facebook or Instagram and just have a chat. Happy crafting. Bye.